So yesterday I decided to do a follow-up video to my Black Lives Matter goes full conspiracy theory, where I talked about the nooses and the hangings that are all taking place and how white people are being blamed because of, white supremacy and white privilege and just overall whiteness. And that's the reason for all this. And of course, I showed you how now the family of one of the supposed victims of the hangings was actually just committing suicide, just like the original autopsy said. But that story kind of was overshadowed yesterday by another story I brought to your attention, and that was the noose found in Bubba Wallace's garage. And if you remember, I said that I believed that it was a flag of falseness, that it just seemed a little too convenient. Well, that's been addressed. I think the media might be watching my channel because they even addressed it on The View.
Now, some people are suggesting that this is a hoax or perhaps even staged by NASCAR to garner more support for the removal of the Confederate flag. But my understanding is that the only people who have access to the area where the noose was found are the racing teams and perhaps a few essential workers. So what would you say to those people who are doubting that this even happened or that it's true?
Yeah, just like Steve Phelps said, it offends me that people would go to those measures. But again, I'm not shocked. People are entitled to their own opinion to make them feel good, whatever, help them sleep at night. But it is still an ongoing investigation with the FBI. I can now say I've talked to the FBI. Never thought that would happen. But it's just unfortunate circumstances and in a terrible time that we're in right now. Year 2020 will be one year to for sure forget moving forward. But it's simple-minded people like that, the ones that are afraid of change. They use everything in their power to defend what they stand up for, and instead of trying to listen and understand what's going on. And like I said, it's still an ongoing investigation. We're still trying to figure out whoever did this crazy act, trying to pinpoint it on somebody and just go.
So Bubba Wallace says that I'm small-minded, and it's because I refuse to accept change, and it's because I just won't listen to anyone. Never mind that I tried to say that it was a hoax, but they don't want to listen to me. They just call me small-minded. And as you heard, it's under investigation. The FBI, literally the FBI, is looking into this as a hate crime. Never mind all the real hate crimes where I showed you how white people are being attacked everywhere violently. Nope, the FBI doesn't have time for that. They have time for this. Well, what are other people saying about this noose situation in Bubba's garage?
Man, this is such bullshit. Bubba Wallace spoke out against racism, and clearly someone wanted to send a reminder of what can happen to black people who don't know their place. And because NASCAR has so many Confederate flag fans, I will say this though. As much as this story is infuriating, it also is wonderful how these racists expose themselves. Because all these Confederate flag-loving people always say the same thing. This has nothing to do with race. The flag is about heritage. It has nothing to do with racism. But as soon as a black man stands up against the Confederate flag, the first thing they do is respond with racism.
Also, the governor of Alabama has apologized on behalf of your home state, and the FBI is looking into the incident as well. So when you heard about it, what was your reaction to it? And I know your mom sort of said, hey, you don't have to take this.
Today's despicable act of racism and hatred leaves me incredibly saddened and serves as a painful reminder of how much further we have to go as a society and how persistent we must be in the fight against racism. As my mother told me today, they are just trying to scare you. This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue to proudly stand for what I believe in.
Yeah, and LeBron James weighed in on Twitter saying, "Sickening. Bubba Wallace, my brother. No, you don't stand alone. I'm right here with you as well as every other athlete. I just want to continue to say how proud I am of you for continuing to take a stand for change here in America and sports. NASCAR, I salute you as well."
ESPN host Marty Smith reacted on the network just moments after the news broke.
I spoke to a senior NASCAR official just a few moments ago, and they reiterated that statement. They're going to find who this person is. They're going to eliminate this person from the sport forever, because this sport is moving forward. This sport is in a progressive mode. This sport is in a moment where this crap, this despicable crap, is not only not acceptable, but there's just no place for it. And whomever that is, I hope that you are so ashamed of yourself. You're not just hurting one or two people, whomever you are. You're hurting a whole lot of people who have made the decision that it's damn sure time to go be better. And it pisses me the hell off. And it pisses everybody else in the sport off who care not only for Bubba, but for every single person that he is standing up for. And I am so sorry that we even have to have this discussion tonight.
Here, Nick, I want to start with you and first get your reaction to what was said and what happened yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like you saw the bubbling lead up to this in the reaction from some NASCAR fans to the fact that they weren't able to fly proudly their traitor flag any longer by the plane that flew over the stadium with the Confederate flag saying defund NASCAR, with the little mini rally outside of Talladega of folks proudly flying the Confederate battle flag. And I know Wilds is going to probably talk more about the Bubba Wallace and NASCAR piece of this. I'm going to use my time here because if anything good can come of this, it will be if people better know their history and the history of that noose and the history of lynching in America.
Now, the irony of this guy saying that he gets to tell everyone the truth about the noose and in America. By the way, this guy with this outstanding smelling device on the front of his face, his name is Nick Wright. And he's going to go off on a tangent here about nooses and lynchings. And we kind of get off track from Bubba Wallace for a second, but it's important in the overall scope of what we're talking about here. So I'm going to let him go on with what he was saying.
I say all that to say this. This is not ancient history. And in some ways, this is not even history. Just in the last 10 days here in New York City, at Van Cortlandt Park and at Marcus Garvey Park, a couple blocks from where I live, nooses were found hanging in trees. The police declined to investigate the one at Van Cortlandt for reasons I don't understand. We'll see what happens at Marcus Garvey. Since George Floyd was murdered on May 25th, there have been 6 instances nationwide of people of color being found hanging from trees in this country. Now,
as you guys can hear, the guy with the extraordinary smelling device on his face has decided to push the noose / hanging / lynching white supremacy psyop as hard as he possibly can. It doesn't matter that none of it is true. Absolutely none of it. On this channel, I've already exposed most of it. He said 6 people found hanging, people of color. Well, one of them was Mexican, so that already got thrown out. His family instantly said he wasn't part of the narrative. Number 2, I already talked about one of the guys in California. His family said that it was suicide. The other guy in California, the medical examiner already said it was suicide. They're continually pushing lies, and it's working. Now he's talking about other nooses found in trees. Well, guess what? That's all bullshit too. And don't get it twisted. He already knows. But look, here's one in California that was for exercise. Here's one in New York that was for construction.
These are symbols of torture and racial violence.
Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf is so alarmed by the video she saw of a rope that looked like a noose in a tree at Lake Merritt, she's calling for a hate crime investigation.
And I recognize that there is some information. These might have been parts of exercise equipment. The intention does not invalidate the effect.
Portia Freeman is the woman who shot video of the rope and posted it and her concerns on social media.
And I just saw something swinging that caught my eye, caught me off guard.
But this man, Victor Sengbei, told us the rope is part of a rigging used by him and his friends as part of a larger swing system. He even shared this video of it in action with ABC 7 News.
Out of the dozens and hundreds and thousands of people that have walked by, no one, has thought that it looked anywhere close to a noose. Right, folks have used it for exercise. Folks have, it was really a fun addition to the park that we tried to create.
Sengbei told us this small piece of rope still up in a tree is all part of the same system. Still, for many people, the image of anything that looks like a noose stirs up intense emotion.
Even if it was, just say if it was supposed to be exercise rope, it is making us all unsafe.
But it's unfortunate that a genuine gesture of just, wanting to create a good time got misinterpreted into something so...
You heard that clearly. As I destroy all of these noose psyops, they still claim it's hurting them. She even said that. By the way, thank God that was a black guy. Could you imagine if a white guy was exercising with that tree and a rope? Holy shit. It would be an international incident. But anyway, let's get back to the Bubba Wallace psyop. I'm sorry, not psyop. It's still under investigation. The Bubba Wallace noose. Let's focus back in on that.
Good point. Broussard, Nick said this might have been a bubbling up of events that have happened over the course of the last couple of weeks. I wonder whether what happened last night surprised you. Were you surprised when you woke up this morning and you read about this?
No, not at all. In fact, I'd be surprised if many, if not any, African Americans were surprised. When you grow up black in this country, you get used to things like this, and obviously much worse happening. And Bubba Wallace is right. This won't break him. It won't break us. We've seen worse than this, and we'll continue to thrive. But to Nick's point, look, as this country tears down symbols and images of white supremacy, there are a lot of whites who behind closed doors are upset and seething. They may smile in public, they may be quiet in public, but privately they are angry because, as Nick said, this is what their life has been about. And this is painful for all Americans who love their country to admit. But these feelings are deep-seated because this country was not founded on freedom. It was not founded on Christianity. It was founded on racism and white supremacy. It's in the very fabric of the nation. So a lot of whites can't even fathom not living in that. They don't want equality. They want white superiority, which is the position they've been placed in for the last 400 years.
Well, I let that go on long enough. I just wanted to make sure that I established how pitiful and racist everyone is, from the athletes to the media hacks. I want everyone to know how these are conspiracy theorists. Not like regular even conspiracy. These are crazy ass, like we landed on Mars type conspiracy theories that these Black Lives Matter people are pushing with this noose nonsense. So I wanted to establish it. So, like I said, even though there's real hate crimes going on against elderly white people, young white people, just white people of all ages, the FBI sent 14 or 15 people to go investigate NASCAR and a rope that was hanging. And now they found out that they are announcing that the noose found in Bubba Wallace's garage has been there since 2019. No federal crime committed. You heard it right. Another psyop, another hoax blown up right in front of their face. So how did the mainstream media report this once they found out? Here, have a listen.
It is. You have an update, by the way, on an FBI investigation involving the NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. I don't mean to take a bit of a turn here, but we got this breaking news, and it's, well, it's important to get it out there. What do you got, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, remember, Bubba Wallace said he found this noose, and so the FBI was investigating whether there was some sort of a hate crime here, and now they say no, there wasn't, and here's why. They say they've now concluded that that noose was in the specific garage number 4 at NASCAR, as early as last October of 2019. Bubba Wallace didn't get assigned that garage until last week. And so the Justice Department says there's no way that whoever put that noose there would have known that Bubba Wallace was ultimately going to be assigned that specific garage. So they say there's no federal crime here.
So Bubba Wallace and CNN and the rest of the mainstream media is doing damage control now that we know that it wasn't a hate crime. So he was already on Don Lemon's show tonight on CNN. As you see by this article here, Bubba Wallace responds to FBI findings, whether tied in 2019 or whatever, it was a noose.
You're careful. So absolutely, I think, that definitely intensified everything that went on. And unfortunate that everything played out the way it did, but there has some parallels to that for sure.
Have you seen ropes like that hanging from garages? Is that typical?
Don, the image that I have and I have seen of what was hanging in my garage is not a garage pool. I've been racing all my life. We've raced out of hundreds of garages that never had garage pools like that. So people that want to call it a garage pool and put out old videos and photos of knots being in their evidence, go ahead. But from the evidence that we have, that I have, it's a straight up noose. The FBI has stated it was a noose over and over again. NASCAR leadership has stated that it was a noose. I can confirm that. I actually got evidence of what was hanging in my garage, over my car, around my picker guys, to confirm that it was a noose. And never seen anything like it. It's not something I talked to my crew chief about. I said, is this something like, I wanted to make sure we weren't jumping the gun. And I said, this isn't a knot. This isn't just a regular old whatchamacallit. He's like, Bubba, this isn't something that can be done within a second of just tying a knot and being on the way. This is something that took time.
So what are you saying here? Are you saying that you don't believe? Do you believe that it was intended for you in that way, or what are you saying here?
It was a noose. It was a noose that was whether tied in 2019 or whatever. It was a noose. So it wasn't directed at me, but somebody tied a noose. That's what I am saying.
NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace says he's pissed. Members of the public are now questioning his integrity after the FBI said a noose found in his garage stall this week was there before his team moved in. I'm mad because people are trying to test my character and the person that I am and my integrity, he told CNN's Don Lemon Tuesday night. Hey, Bubba, you have zero fucking integrity. Zero. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Nothing after what's happening. NASCAR said it launched an investigation after a crew member discovered the noose Sunday afternoon at Talladega Superspeedway. In a statement earlier this week, NASCAR said it was angry and outraged. There you see a picture of the racist piece of shit Bubba Wallace there with his racist ass t-shirt on. The FBI said Tuesday the noose, they keep calling it a noose, had been in the garage since last year and Wallace was therefore not a victim of a hate crime. NASCAR, mentioning the FBI report, described the item as a garage door pull rope fashioned like a noose. Talking to Lemon, Wallace said the image he saw of, quote, what was hanging in my garage is not a garage pull. It was a noose. whether tied in 19 or whatever, it was a noose. So it wasn't directed at me, but somebody tied a noose, and that's what I'm saying. So in other words, the racist piece of shit says that's his story and he's sticking to it. Well, guess what? Guess what? Not only was that, quote, noose in that garage in 2019, every single garage at Talladega Super Speedway had the exact same garage pull. Now, in case you didn't hear me clearly, in 2019, they hung a rope on every single garage. And you guys, every one of these mainstream media people, they know this and they understand it, but they're still calling it a noose. Now, of course, the racist piece of shit, Bubba Wallace, is calling it a noose because that's his narrative. But look at what the media is doing too with it. And I know they're racist pieces of shit too. All of them are racist pieces of shit. All of this nooses, lynching, hangings, all of this stuff the last 2 weeks. The few of us that were courageous enough to stand up in front of this mob and to speak the truth and say, nope, this was a flag of falseness. Nope. This was a hoax. And now it's no doubt about it. It's absolutely 100% a hoax. And why do I say that? Why was the FBI called? In my opinion, the FBI was called to see if they were there to investigate and see if it could be pulled off, if they could pass it off like a noose. That was the only reason why the FBI was there. Because NASCAR obviously knew. Okay, guys, think about this. Supposedly they found a noose. Are you telling me that as this made worldwide news Sunday night, that not one other person was able to check and see if all of the garages had the same garage pull? Now, do you guys see what I'm saying? This is an incredible story. This is absolutely incredible. What did the FBI report say? The FBI said it learned that garage number 4, where the noose was found, was assigned to Bubba Wallace last week. The investigation also revealed evidence, including authentic video confirmed by NASCAR that the noose found in garage number 4 was in the garage as early as October 2019. Although the noose is now known to be in garage number 4 in 2019, nobody could have known Mr. Wallace would have been assigned to garage number 4 last week. There's the noose. When asked why the FBI characterized the rope in Bubba Wallace's garage as a noose, Birmingham FBI spokesman Paul Damon told CNN, "It's my understanding that the rope was fashioned into a noose knot and used as a door pull." Damon said 15 FBI agents were assigned to NASCAR investigations. So we have 94-year-old white women being shoved over by racist thug. We have white people being beat down every single day, killed. There's people that have been lost their lives defending their small businesses, that have been killed by these mobs, which we know. Yeah, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that. NASCAR issued a statement regarding the FBI's decision. "We appreciate the FBI's quick and thorough investigation and are thankful to learn that this was not an intentional racist act against Bubba. We remain steadfast in our commitment to provide a welcoming and inclusive environment for all who love racing." They want so fucking bad for people to be racist, but nobody is fucking racist. Sorry about my passion, but I've had enough. I've had enough. Several days ago, a 10-year-old child came up to me and said that they are hanging black people in California, and he was scared. That was a hard conversation to have. I had to explain to him how the media lies. But it's a 10-year-old. How much can you possibly say to them? They're still pushing it. They're pushing it and pushing and pushing and pushing the lies. This video needs to go super viral. Everyone needs to see this. This needs to be put on a platform where everything can be exposed. Black Lives Matter needs to be exposed for the racist, vile piece of garbage that it is.